Guys, Pastor Greg Locke here. Recently I read about a homeless man that lived out in the woods behind a convenience store. And every morning as the store was getting busy, he would stand close to the door, and as people would come in and out, he would simply say, "Good morning, what's your name?" Everyone ignored him. He carried a simple pencil in one hand and a shoebox in the other. One day, after he had been ignored over and over and over again multiple times, a gentleman walked in and he simply said, "Good morning, what's your name?" And in haste and being very abrupt and busy, as we all are, he said, "Jim, my name's Jim." And he went on in the store. Well, as Jim was getting his coffee, he thought, you know what, I'll get this guy a cup of coffee. No harm, no foul. So he did. He walked out, he handed the homeless man a cup of coffee. And the homeless man lit up like a Christmas tree and he said, "Thank you, sir. My name's Howard." And Jim went on his way and got in the car and left. Several weeks went by, and one morning, to Jim's dismay, when he stopped at the same store to get some coffee, he noticed a rescue responder truck, a sheriff's patrol, ambulance. A crowd had gathered. And tragically enough, Howard, the homeless man, had been hit by a vehicle and laid dead in the parking lot. But he could tell as the people were meandering around that nobody knew who the guy was. They'd seen him but never talked to him. Jim walked over and said, "I don't know much about the guy, but his name's Howard. Met him a couple of weeks ago. So Howard's the name." As he got ready to walk away, the sheriff turned, took that shoebox, shoved it into Jim's hand and said, "You're the only guy that seems to know anything about him. This is all the man owned that we can find. You can have it." Jim went in, got his coffee, went over and sat down in his car, and before he drove off into the traffic-filled highway to get to work, he opened up that shoebox and there were two things. That little stubby pencil that Howard had carried with him, and an envelope that said on the outside of it, "My friends." He hurriedly opened it up because this was Jim's opportunity to find out who the guy knew so he could at least let him know that he was dead. And when Jim opened that envelope that simply said, "My friends," there was one small scrap of dirty paper, and there was one word written on that one piece of paper, and it was simply this: Jim. Jim. I read that and it brought great tears to my eyes. You know why? Because you may be someone's Jim. You may be the world to someone. You don't have to have a PhD in Bible theology. My friend, listen, you don't have to know rocket science. Just love somebody. Buy them a cup of coffee. Buy them a meal. Look them in the eye. Shake their hand. Hug their neck. Never underestimate the undeniable power of kindness and love. And just simply giving someone a look in the eye, a touch on the back, just loving people, being kind to people. You may be someone's entire world just through a simple random act of kindness, just through a cup of coffee, just through praying for someone. Just something so simple. We don't have to do much, but we have to do something because someone out there believes that you are the greatest person that they've ever met.